They had a Justin Trudeau-led Liberal Party winning a majority with 39% support. The Conservatives coming in second with 32% support, and the NDP coming in a distant third at 20%. So the NDP line that the Liberal Party is dead, they got to forget that, because Justin Trudeau puts them so forcefully back into the game. Okay, and keep in mind that because Justin Trudeau spent the first year and a half of this government on the road fundraising. Okay, the Liberal,
the
Liberal Party
secret in Canadian political.
Right, he spent the whole time fundraising, and he's a fundraising machine. He draws people. People want to go and see Justin Trudeau. They want to be energized by his by his presence, and that's a powerful factor that the Liberals have working in their favor right now, right? They have, we've been over all of the things that are working against them time and time again, but we really have to take a hard look at what they have going for them right now, and what their main asset, what they have going for them right now is Justin Trudeau, period.
Right.
But that cannot be discounted. That's a huge factor. So for the NDP to take that lightly would be foolhardy at best.
Exactly. It's what we said to Elizabeth May, the NDP needs to listen to as well, and realize it's not time to pile on with the Conservatives and think that the destruction of the Liberal Party is a goal that's worthy. It's not an unworthy goal.
Yeah.
You don't want to destroy the Liberal Party.
No. See what I can see. I can see the Liberal Party picking up a lot of youth votes. And again, I know we said it before, but this shows about cooperation. And all I want from the two parties is for the two leaders to not swear off the idea of forming a coalition. That's it. As long as they don't do that, let strategic voters in this country do their work, because I tell you, we've never had as good of a reason to vote strategically as we do in Stephen Harper. Do you know what I mean? And as long as Stephen Harper is Prime Minister, I really see the case for strategic voting as something that's basically irrefutable.
Well, that's what we have to do, Tony. We have to take everything that Stephen Harper is doing to Canadian politics and turn it inside out and make it work for us. Okay, so Stephen Harper is going to be divisive and polarize Canadian politics. Then we need to get smart as voters. We need to vote strategically.
Yeah.
We have to ignore all the old arguments against strategic voting. And I know because I used to employ them. The reasons for strategic voting are in Canada with the Stephen Harper majority are dead. And there is no good argument against strategic voting anymore.
And to pay homage to your ability to utilize those arguments against strategic voting, okay? Mm-hmm. I do believe that leading up to this last election on May 2nd, 2010, was it?
The last election was 2011.
2011. Yeah, sorry. And I've always been a strategic voter, and it was based on your influence to a very large degree that resulted in me voting for the NDP.
I influenced you at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to get our timing down.
I know, man. I know.
And ironically, at the time, I argued against strategic voting, and I was a heartfelt anti-strategic voter. I always felt that there was a real reason to vote your conscience.
Right.
And I mean,
because this country had never seen a majority government like what we have right now. All those
arguments.
I mean,
I lived through two Stephen Harper minorities, and don't get me wrong, they were awful. A lot of horrible things happened. But I should have known better. I should have known what Stephen Harper was going to do to Canada if he got a majority. And if I can't. It's not like I could have made a complete difference. But still, I recognize now that my position on strategic voting, in hindsight, was not necessarily the best position I could have taken before. In other words, if I could have done anything to stop a Harper majority before the last election, now I go back and I think I would have done that. I would have been talking to my friends in Nipissing-Temiskaming, and I would have been saying, vote Liberal, because that's about all I could have done to make sure that Conservative was defeated. I knew people in North Bay, you had good inside information, knowing that the Liberals were only like within 100 votes of the Conservatives, and it shows that these parties and these ridings, when they're organized, can have a good pulse on exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I knew it. I changed my mind. I went in there. I wanted to vote for Leighton. I wanted to be part of the Orange Crush and or the Orange Wave or whatever it is, and I wanted to be part of that because I had been a strategic voter for so long in my life, being in a riding that is always tight between the Conservatives and the Liberals with the NDP, where my heart lies, by the way. Okay, a distant third place. So this time, in full knowledge of the fact that this was an incredibly tight election, voted NDP. I changed my mind. I was going to vote strategically based on the information that I had from a Liberal campaign worker that it was too close to call, because everybody in this riding thought that our excellent MP, Anthony Rota, would be returned to office. And he lost by 18 votes. And I was one of those people that shifted over to vote. I wanted to be part of the Orange Crush. I couldn't help it. I went to the booth with the intention of scratching off putting my X beside Anthony Rota, Liberal's name, and I voted NDP. I changed my mind with a pencil in my hand, man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, in a way, I guess I feel like I should apologize.
No.
I hope that I wasn't a tipping point for you there. We know better now. We know what Stephen Harper does with a majority government. We know that we need to look at this next election cycle in a completely unique context. We can't use the same arguments against strategic voting that were used in the past. Just simply don't exist anymore. The Conservatives have removed the per vote subsidy, so you can't even say, well, at least I'm giving my party a little bit of money, in their coffers. The Conservatives have polarized the politics, and now all the other opposition parties are going to be focused on their progressive platforms and environmental platforms. I mean, we just really need to take all of these positives, in the sense that that NDP and Liberals have effective leaders, with Justin Trudeau and Mulcair. Again, turn that into a positive. You can feel comfortable as an NDP or a Liberal voting for that other party, even based on their leadership candidate. We just got to find ways to make sure that we don't get caught up in party politics. We think about Canada. We defeat Stephen Harper. That has to be our goal. It literally has to be our goal.
Yeah. Got no argument from me here on that one. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, we haven't even gotten to talking about the Middle East or anything like that in the show. I guess
do you want to do that one soon, or do you want to call it a night, or where do you want to go from here?
I could go for a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't want to end this show without having mentioned the fact that we continue to slide towards war.
I think we need to talk about it too.
Our Prime Minister went down to New York recently to receive his Statesman of the Year award from, I guess...
the Appeal of Conscience Foundation.
Yeah. Anyway, and he didn't even bother showing up at the United Nations, where both...
No, he declined to give a speech.
Yeah, and I believe... Did he not show... I thought he didn't show up at all.
Oh yeah, he probably. I think he let John Baird and a couple other.
Barack Obama and Netanyahu and
Ahmadinejad are all there talking their stuff. Yeah. Stephen Harper is busy hanging out with Henry Kissinger, getting some gold-plated award from a pro-Israel lobby.
Yeah, nice. Thank you, Stephen Harper, for yet again embarrassing this country in a terrible fashion.
Yeah.
What an embarrassment, man. Statesman, really, eh? Statesman.
It's really it's one of those things that just kind of makes it all very transparent. At least for me, you look at that and you think, wow, okay, our Prime Minister closes down diplomacy with Iran. Then he goes and receives an award for Statesman of the Year from a completely and totally one-sided biased group that is entirely pro-Israel and anti-Palestinian. that pretends to give awards for statesmanship, but it's really about the biggest supporter of Israel at the time. I and let's not forget to mention that at the same time, he allows his government to be used by Great Britain in a policy stunt to upstage the European Union in this idea that the Commonwealth countries are all going to get together and share embassies and diplomatic arrangements. I mean, when does it stop?
When asked, I saw a bit on Evan Solomon's show where Pierre Poilievre was taken a task and asked to defend this move, and Evan Solomon asked, "Okay, are we going to be able to fly our flags at these embassies?" And that guy couldn't. The representative for the Conservative Party, could not say yes. He couldn't say an answer to the question. He did not know. He couldn't say for sure whether or not our shared embassies with Great Britain would be permitted to fly the Canadian flag.
And the other thing they couldn't answer either is they claim that they're doing this on a monetary basis, and yet they don't even have any numbers as to how or what kind of money this is going to save Canada. So Canada gives up the even if it's just the appearance of an independent brand in certain countries that where maybe the Great Britain's former colonialism might still have a bad taste in some people's mouth. So we might give up our appearance of being independent players for a number that we don't even know that we're going to save, which is probably in the end going to be very small.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I really don't get it. And some people, you get a lot of people out there going, "Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's not a bad idea."
Yeah, I don't know. And it seems like we're outsourcing our foreign policy, and it seems like we're putting ourselves under the wing of our former colonial masters. And it seems that Stephen Harper is selling out our sovereignty every which way but fucking Friday, with free trade agreements and, again, cozying up to the monarchy and etc. Right? It's a really bad situation. But the thing I'm really afraid of, Mike, is that we're gonna be at war with Iran, and that's not a good thing. I don't think Canadians are properly alarmed about this right now. The economic implications of a war with Iran are intense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every sort of angle on the war with Iran. There's not a single beneficial one to the average Canadian, Iranian, Israeli, American, European, English. Nobody. No one's going to benefit from. No average person anywhere in the world is going to benefit from a war in Iran, economically, socially. There's no way. It just won't happen.
Do you see? I mean, like, we know where we are right now. Where our government has shut down the embassy. Bibi Netanyahu, remember, you see his little chart of the bomb with the 90%, the 70% and the 90% line, and then it was a cartoon bomb with a little fuse at the end, and you knew that bomb was going to explode. Where when the cartoon bomb was full of Iranian threat, it goes off apparently.
Yeah, I thought that he might have either discussed the matter previous to that with Wile E. Coyote or maybe Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure.
It was so childish. He was like he was talking to children. And when the bomb gets full of Iranian threat, it goes off and it takes out Israel, or wipes us off the map. Yeah. And oh my God. And it was just unbelievable. So Netanyahu at the United Nations was ridiculous. So we know where we are right now. We're sliding towards war. Do you have any good ideas, or have you heard any good ideas lately about how we could get this war off the ground? How we could get it going?
I have.